Our film kicks off with a professional hitman storming a gang's headquarters. The whole opening scene is shot from his POV. It feels exactly like you're playing a first-person shooter. He's outnumbered, going up against a small army of armed men, but he cuts through every single one of them, moving room to room, leaving no one standing. He finally makes it to the boss's office, and that's when the big reveal hits. The hitman is actually a woman. Her name is Sook-hee. She tears through the boss's entire crew, and in the end, she takes the man himself out by strangling him. Then she uses that same rope to rappel out the window. Bad timing, though. She lands right in front of a police unit and gets arrested on the spot. The Korean police forwards Sook-hee's file to intelligence. Once the agents review her footage, it's clear she's no ordinary criminal. She's a trained, elite fighter. Instead of throwing her in prison, they decide to recruit her and put her skills to use. There's one problem. She's a known face in the criminal underworld. So they put her through plastic surgery to change her appearance and set her up with a brand new identity. All of this happens while she's locked in a hospital room. One day, the anesthesiologists walk in to prep her for a procedure, but Sook-hee plays along just long enough, then drops them both and makes a run for it. She slips into another room and walks in on a group of girls in the middle of a ballet rehearsal. Then she makes her way into the kitchen, but they corner her there. She grabs one of the people chasing her, holds a knife to him, and forces her way out. In the next room, she finds a theater troupe running a full stage performance. In another, a group of women sitting at mirrors doing their makeup. The strangest part, nobody in any of these rooms even bats an eye at her. It's like nothing unusual is happening at all. Finally, Sook-hee runs into the head of the guards and demands to know the way out. The woman tells her, the only way out is off the roof. Sook-hee doesn't hesitate. She jumps, but it was a trap. The guard shoots her in the shoulder on the way down. Meanwhile, we cut to a few agents back at the agency who've been watching everything unfold. One of them, Hyun-soo, is completely taken with Sook-hee and volunteers to be her handler once she's out. The agency chief sits down with Sook-hee and lays out the deal. 10 years of service in exchange for a steady paycheck and a place to live. And if she refuses, the chief slides a newspaper across the table, Sook-hee's own obituary. Sook-hee doesn't flinch, she turns it down. Then the chief drops the one thing she didn't see coming. Sook-hee is pregnant, and just like that, she doesn't have a choice anymore. Sook-hee joins the organization and gets to work. The training isn't what you'd expect. Cooking, dancing, acting. They're not just building a killer, they're building a cover. Time passes and we see her daughter Yoon, and Sook-hee is completely over the moon about her. Hyun-soo takes a real interest in both of them, and one day he stops by to bring the little girl a gift. The chief catches the whole thing on the security cameras. Back in training, one of the girls, a cocky one named Kim, decides to call Sook-hee out and challenge her to a fight. Sook-hee doesn't even dignify it with a response. Kim doesn't take the hint and swings first. Sook-hee puts her down without breaking a sweat. The chief watches every second of it. The next day, Sook-hee's teammates throw a little birthday party for her daughter. A whole year has gone by. When the chief walks in, Sook-hee actually thanks her, genuinely, for everything she's done for her and Yoon. The following day, the organization removes Sook-hee's tattoo. As it comes off, she drifts back to the day she got it. The one who drew it was her mentor, Ajushi. He was the man who trained her in everything, every fighting style, every technique. She'd asked him to, because all she ever wanted was to avenge her father's murder. We flash back to the day Sook-hee goes after the man she believes killed her father, but he was expecting her. It's a trap, and she gets caught. He sets the record straight. He didn't kill her father. He was there for a jewel heist, nothing more. And just before he can give her the name of the real killer, Ajushi shows up and takes everyone out. Back to the present, Sook-hee and Kim go head-to-head in one final test. Whoever assembles their gun first and lands a shot on the other wins. Lucky for Sook-hee, Ajushi had her doing this since she was a little girl. She puts the gun together faster than Kim, but refuses to pull the trigger. In the flashback version of this moment, the other person finished assembling their gun and was about to shoot her, until Ajushi got there first. Back in the present, she wins the same way, beats Kim to it, and fires a round into her bulletproof vest. Hyun-soo and his buddies had a bet running on the whole thing. He's thrilled she won, and his friends have already figured out he's into her. The man keeps a whole journal with notes about her. After years of training, the chief finally hands Sook-hee her first real assignment. Pull it off, and she's out of the training facility for good. The mission, an assassination. She tracks the target down, but he's ready for her and comes out swinging. She gets the job done in the end, but then his young daughter walks in and sees everything. It takes Sook-hee straight back to her own childhood, her father hiding her under the bed so the men wouldn't find her, and watching them kill him right in front of her eyes. The guards snap her out of it. They're already at the house and closing in. With the police right behind them, Sook-hee throws herself into deep water to escape. Underwater, her mind drifts back. Her father was up late with a friend, and he showed her his jewel, told her it would be her wedding gift when she grew up. After he was killed, his friend came into the room searching for it and found her hiding under the bed. He grabbed her, but Ajashi was there. He stepped in and beat the man off her, then a gunshot. He turned around to find that Sook-hee had just killed a man who was about to shoot him in the back. Sook-hee finally pulls herself out of the water, and the chief is standing right there waiting for her. The next day, she hands her a new identity and drives her to her new home. That's where Sook-hee meets Hyun-soo for the first time. He's been assigned as her handler, exactly what he'd asked for, playing the part of an ordinary neighbor. He uses a moment alone with her in the elevator to slip a photo into her bag. Sook-hee notices he keeps showing up at her door, and she starts brushing him off. She tells him she's married. Husband's just away on a trip. She doesn't buy his act for a second and asks the chief to look into him. A little while later, she finds the photo he slipped her. It's him with a woman, his wife. She decides to return it. He tells her his wife passed away 5 years ago. They lived in Yeonbyeon, the same city where Sook-hee was born. Finally, Sook-hee decides to let Hyun-soo in, but she gives him her new name, Yoon. Shortly after, the chief calls with an update on him. His wife didn't die 3 years ago in a robbery. It was 5. The timeline doesn't add up, but life moves on, and the two of them get closer. They go out, spend evenings together, and Sook-hee's little daughter takes to Hyun-soo immediately. One night over dinner, she notices his tie. It reminds her of Ajashi, and that's when we find out Sook-hee and Ajashi had gotten married. On their honeymoon, he slipped away on a mission to avenge her father's murder. He never came back. Back in the present, Sook-hee comes clean to Hyun-soo. Her husband is gone, and she'd been lying to him. He tells her he loves her. They grow closer. Then her phone rings. It's her friend Soo, another agent from the organization. Sook-hee leaves her daughter with Hyun-soo and heads out to meet her. Soo has one ask: help her with a mission. The same way Sook-hee earned her way out. She wants out too. But the mission goes sideways. Their target gets hold of Soo and holds a knife to her throat. Sook-hee rushes him. They fight, but he drives the blade into Soo's neck. She's bleeding out. Sook-hee takes him down and calls for help. The chief shows up, but she's not there for Soo. She came for a flash drive, grabs it, and walks out. Soo dies in Sook-hee's arms. The next morning, Sook-hee decides to come clean to Hyun-soo, but he beats her to it, tells her he loves her, that he's not going anywhere, because if she confesses, he'd have to report her, and he won't do that. Back at the organization, they pull up what's on the flash drive. It belongs to the man who killed Sook-hee's father, and they hand her the assignment to take him out. The next day, Sook-hee goes to see the chief and tells her she's decided to get married. Her reason is simple. If she ends up like Soo, she needs someone to take care of Yoon. The chief signs off, knowing full well the husband will be Hyun-soo. On her wedding day, Kim shows up. She gets in Sook-hee's face and pins Soo's death on her. Then the chief calls, tells her to go to the bathroom. She walks in and finds a sniper rifle waiting for her. The order: use it to take out a man in glasses. Sook-hee takes the shot, but it hits the glasses and he survives. And then it hits her like a freight train. That man is Ajashi. She demands answers from the chief. She gets nothing. Sook-hee puts the rifle back and walks out to finish the wedding ceremony. But walking down the hall toward Hyun-soo, everything starts falling into place. The day she was told Ajashi died, his assistant called and gave her the location of her father's killer. She armed up and stormed the place to take him out. That was the opening scene of the film. And now she realizes Ajashi had been using her all along, feeding her targets and running her like an asset without her knowing. The chief sends Kim to clean up any trace of the mission from the wedding venue, but Kim misses a few things. Ajashi finds them and spots footage of Sook-hee. He can't place her though. The plastic surgery did its job. The next day, Sook-hee finishes a theater performance and turns around to find Ajashi waiting for her. He has a feeling he knows her. She plays dumb. Meanwhile, Hyun-soo is in a bathroom, and one of Ajashi's men is listening in on his call with the chief. Ajashi hears the recording and figures out that Hyun-soo was behind the attempt on his life. The next morning, a bouquet arrives for Sook-hee with a flash drive tucked inside. She slips away from the organization's cameras to hear what's on it. It's Hyun-soo's call with the chief. He's not just a neighbor. He's not just her handler. He's been playing her from day one. She stares at the card that came with the flowers, and sends a message to the number on it. A warning, Kim is coming for him. Ajushi sets a trap for Kim, catches her, and makes her talk. The chief tells Hyun-soo to keep an eye on Sook-hee. He pushes back. The real target is Sook-hee's late husband, and he needs to travel to Yanbyeon to finish the job. The moment he's gone, the chief moves in and takes Sook-hee hostage, then sends a photo straight to Ajushi. Hyun-soo arrives in Yanbyeon and visits someone in the hospital. He reports back to the chief. Mission done. She tells him to look after the little girl. Her mother is sick. That night, we find out the chief plans to hand Sook-hee over to Ajushi. But en route, Ajushi ambushes the convoy and pulls Sook-hee out himself, and they run. They race back to her place to get Yoon. The apartment has been blown up. Hyun-soo manages to grab the little girl and jumps with her from the height of the blast. They both die. Sook-hee is convinced the chief is behind her daughter's death. She goes straight at her. The chief denies it and pulls up the camera footage. It was Ajushi's own assistant who planted the bomb. He knew the girl was Ajushi's daughter and killed her anyway. Then the chief admits something else. Hyun-soo's feelings for Sook-hee were real. She was never just a mission to him. That seals it for Sook-hee. She's going after Ajushi, especially now that she knows he was behind her father's murder all along. She storms their hideout and works through them one by one. She finally gets to Ajushi. They fight, spill out into the street. He slips away before the police arrive. Sook-hee goes after him, gets hit by a car, spots him on a bus with his men. She doesn't stop. She gets in a car and runs the bus down. She forces her way on while it's still moving and tears through every last one of his men. Ajushi stabs her in the shoulder and is seconds away from finishing her off, but she punches the driver and sends the bus off the road. It rolls. Ajushi is badly hurt, and he surrenders. Even as she hesitates, Ajushi can't help himself. He throws her father's murder right in her face. That's all she needed. She finishes him. She walks out, and the police are waiting. She smiles at them anyway, and that's a wrap.